Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Emily's Autism Life, and if you are new, welcome. So, this time I thought it would be a good idea to talk about, something that really appeals to me. And I don't know if this is from having autism, but it could be an autism thing, I don't know. But something that appeals to me and something that really interests me, and that would be clocks. Now, not like normal wall clocks, like the circular wall clocks, but like other styles of clocks like that are mechanical or musical or cuckoo or any kind of those clocks have really interested me for the past 10 years. I started becoming interested in clocks when I would hear our grandfather clock that would play a lot and gong. And now I wasn't really interested in it really back then until I was maybe like, I don't know, like 10 or 11 maybe. I started to become really interested, in that clock and, the chimes and the strike. And I would actually be excited whenever my mom would wind up that clock and be like, because I got to hear it play the tune and strike the hour. And it was just appealing to me for some reason. And yeah, I really liked it. And would always get happy when she wound it up. And when I was about 15 years old, I started learning to wind the clock up. So it's a chain clock where you pull the chain up like that. And I wanted to learn how to do it. And I learned, and I thought it was so cool that I could wind the clock whenever I wanted. Even though it wasn't my clock, even though it was my mom's, still I would wind it whenever I wanted. I wouldn't have to wait for her to do it, and that I could do it and hear it play and chime and strike. Unfortunately, that clock does not really work right now, which is kind of a bummer. I don't know what's wrong with it, but it is an older clock, so yeah, I wish I could show you the chimes and the strike, but it doesn't work right now. And I had a video of it, but I lost that video. I'm so sorry. But yeah, after that, I became so interested in clocks after hearing our clock chime and strike that I became interested in learning about other clocks that were out there. And so what I decided to do one day is pull up some videos on YouTube and see what other kinds of clock videos they had. And most of them were mechanical clocks, because like I said, mechanical clocks mostly appealed to me. Some of them aren't always mechanical, it just depends on what type the clock is, And I would enjoy for hours watching videos of those clocks, and yeah, they were really entertaining. One thing that I really became interested in about specifically grandfather and grandmother clocks is that they could play different tunes, because the one that we have could only play one melody that we would hear all the time, and that's called the Westminster Melody. And I didn't realize that they made clocks that could play 3 other different melodies. And I was like, what? I was like, no way. I'm like, I was mind blown. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, I did not know that clocks like that could play other tunes. And it was just really shocking to me. And I thought it was just the coolest thing. So I would enjoy watching videos of these other clocks, that could play other tunes. And I thought like I said, I thought it was the coolest thing. And I was like, oh my gosh, wouldn't that not be cool to have a clock like that? And then one day, I thought to myself, I want to have a clock like that can play the 3 tunes. Now, it still does play Westminster, but it plays 2 different ones along with it. Like, it has like a selector where you can choose to have it play, Westminster or the other two tunes. And yeah, I thought, oh my gosh, I want a clock like that. Like watching all these videos about these clocks, and it almost made me jealous, that people had those kinds of clocks and that we only had the one that played just the one melody. So yeah, that's the moment where I decided that I thought it would be really cool to have the clock like that. And I went on the internet one day and was researching clocks. Now, of course, I wasn't going to buy them because I wasn't old enough yet. I didn't have a credit card. I was 14. So I just wanted to see how much they were. So I go on the internet, I search up, grandfather clocks and what different styles they had and what tunes they could play, until I came across this very one called the Howard Miller Robinson. And I thought it would be the perfect clock for me one day. I looked at it. It said it could play all three melodies. It was cable driven. Cable driven is where now there's chain driven and cable driven clocks. Chain is where you pull it up and cable is where you wind it with a crank. But yeah, and I thought it would be cool to have a cable driven movement instead of a chain driven movement. Well, not instead, but along with a chain driven movement, if you know what I'm saying. So that's the very moment where I decided that I was going to want that clock in the future sometime. I had been dreaming about having that clock in my home someday, and it just sitting in the hall or the foyer or wherever in the house and just playing those three beautiful melodies. Now, you can't play all three melodies at once. You can only select one at a time, but it comes with the option to play three different ones. But yeah, I was just like, I think I'm gonna love this thing. That's what I would do for some of the days, is I would just sit back and imagine having that beautiful clock in my home. And I was like, I'm going to get it someday. I'm going to get it someday. Like, I was so desperate. Also, another thing that I used to do when I became interested in clocks is I would point out whenever I saw clocks in stores. Like, there was this furniture store that we drove by one time, and I could see a grandfather clock inside. And I was like, hey, look, a grandfather clock. So it kind of pops out at me when I see clocks like that at different stores and other places. And I think, clock shops are really cool, like where you get to see all the different types of clocks. Like, it's like clock heaven in there, if you've ever been into a clock shop. But yeah, I thought it was really cool. I did go into a clock shop one time, and I did see some beautiful grandfather clocks and cuckoo clocks and other musical wall clocks, and I thought it was just so cool. So my thoughts about getting that clock had actually died down for a little while, like for several years maybe, or not several years, like 4 years or something maybe. Like, I wasn't like desperate or wasn't thinking about it as much as I used to. And then one day, for my birthday, my mom had told me that she had got me a birthday present. I came home from school one day, and she was like, come upstairs. I'm like, okay. And I come upstairs into my room, and I could not believe what I had seen. It was a big box. But what was inside the big box? A grandfather clock. And I was so excited when I found out that she had gotten me an actual grandfather clock. And I was like, what? I was like, no, you did not. And I was just, I was speechless almost. I didn't know what to say. And then she brings me downstairs to show me which type she got, like which kind. And guess which kind she got me? The very Howard Miller Robinson that I have wanted for almost 4 years. And that was even more exciting because I was like, oh my gosh, how did you know that I wanted this clock? Like, I don't know if she knew that I knew that I wanted that type of clock. Maybe it was a random guess, but I was like, oh my gosh, I had my dream clock. And you'll never guess where we decided to put it. In my very own bedroom. Yes, folks, I have my very own grandfather clock in my bedroom. All right, folks, so here is the Howard Miller Robinson clock that I had gotten back on my 18th birthday 6 years ago. And as you can see, it is absolutely gorgeous. It's got a moon dial. I always thought the moon dial feature on clocks were cool too. And it's a cable driven. You see the little holes there where you wind it with this little crank right here. And you go down, there's the pendulum and the weights. As you can see, they are absolutely beautiful, beautifully designed. And it's a 2-door, it's a double door. Like you can open the top for the clock face and the bottom to get to the pendulum and the weights. And what's also cool, see if I can get in here. You can also see the movement inside. Like, that's another thing I like about this is it has glass panels and you can actually see, you know, the chime rods and the striker thing over there move. I think that is just so cool. Another thing I wanted to show you was the 3 melodies that it plays. It plays Westminster, St. Michael's, and Whittington. I have it set on St. Michael's right now. And over here are your strike options. You can turn the strike off, and it has a night silent feature, which I currently have it set at so I can sleep at night. And our strike on, which means it'll strike all the time, day or night, no matter what. Another style of clock I like is Cuckoo Clocks because they're just so unique in how they're designed and how, you know, they work and everything. Like, I've seen some videos of some pretty cool cuckoo clocks. Like, there are ones that cuckoo on the hour, and there are also ones that cuckoo on the hour and play music. And there's also sometimes little figures in the clock, like people, animals, that will move around, like either with the cuckoo or with the music of the clock. And I thought, oh my god, that is so cool. Another cool thing I found on YouTube was these animal kind of cuckoo clocks, and they're battery operated, they're not mechanical, but they have like different types of animals that'll come out of a little thing like on the hour. Like, I've seen ones of horses, cows, they have dogs, cats, pigs, elephants, ducks, and I forget. There are a bunch of others, but that's just some of them. And I became interested in the horse one because I like horses, which I'll talk about in another video. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And I really wanted it. And then one day I showed it to my mom and I told her about it and how cool it was and everything. And then one day she ordered it for me and I was excited. And when I set it up, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I was like, I finally have another clock I've always wanted, you know, kind of thing. But I actually got the horse clock before I got my grandfather clock. Like, I got the horse clock in 2013 and I got the grandfather clock in 2016. So first it happened with the horse clock, where I got a clock I wanted, and then it happened with the grandfather clock. So this is the little horse cuckoo clock that I was telling you about. It's made of plastic, and as you can see, it's got a little pendulum right there, which really doesn't do anything. It's really there for decoration, because like I said, this is a battery operated clock. However, if you want the horse to come out, you can actually push this button right here. Isn't that cool? One thing I think that would be really cool one day is to own like an actual real wooden mechanical cuckoo clock. I think that they are so cool, and a lot of them are so unique, and I just think it would be a really cool treasure to have. So yeah, being a person on the spectrum, clocks are just one of the things that appeal to me, and I think that are very unique and pop out at me, and I think are so cool. And like I said, I still like watching videos. Oh, there's the horse clock again. I still like watching clock videos even to this day. And yeah, I just think it's really cool, and like I said, there's something that pops out at me, and it's just really interesting. If you enjoyed this, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.